Hey everyone, my name is Monroe and welcome to another episode of an awesome YouTube breakdiving video. For those joining us, you can join our actual community at breakdiving.io. Today's topic is the diver's code. So to explain that, let me just go backtrack real quick. We've got five awesome people here. First, we got Kelly Chen in Texas, Ileana Argyris in Egypt, Riya Chowdhury in India, and Bhavya Bandari in New Jersey, and I'm in New York. And we're all break divers. And what does that mean? Instead of waiting for opportunities to float to the surface, we dive in and we make our own breaks. That's hence the name break diving. And because it's like a philosophy and we have our creed, which is no rules, no excuses, no regrets, we also created a code. And you can read that code at breakdiving.io and just click diver's code in the top nav bar. And so anyway, we have some of these events. We have lots of events. You can come join them. But today's event is about the diver's code, tenets 4, 5, and 6.
Thanks.
And I'm going to actually just share my screen real quick. So let's go to break diving. Actually, we're right out. Here we are. So look, I do not lie. Wait, number 4. This is number 4. Always say thanks. So break divers always say thanks. What we're doing with break diving is trying to create this code of being a good person and treating your fellow man, your fellow person. We were having a talk about political correctness earlier. We'll get into that shortly too, about your political correctness. You can see that, unreasonable political correctness. So. And we have this code to help inspire people, our members, to treat one another with kindness, because unfortunately on other social media sites, people treat people horribly. And we want to change that. One thing I want to find out is I wonder if, I was recording this earlier, and the last video that we recorded, it only recorded the speaker whenever they spoke on the Cash Flow Club one. And I want to make sure that it shows everybody. I'm hoping it's doing that now. We'll see.
Speaker view.
Which view?
Speaker view.
I think I'm on that. All right, well, we'll see. I have the largest view, and there's a big tape of all 4 or 5 of us. We'll see if that works. I want to actually start with number 6 because that's the last one that we were talking about in the chat room, and a quote came to me. Before I tell you the quote, it says, "I do not lie, cheat, steal, or plagiarize." And it always reminds me, whenever I'm thinking of lying, cheating, stealing, plagiarizing, it reminds me of a quote from Mark Twain. And he said, "'Tis better, 'tis," because he always says "'tis." It's important that it's "'tis." "'Tis better to deserve honors and not receive them than to receive honors and not deserve them."
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it strikes a chord with me because there have been times in my life, and I'm sure each of your lives, where you each feel that you got the raw deal, that somebody else got credit for something you did, or someone else got the award when you were better than that person. And because of politics, it's always politics or something. Because of politics or because of who they know, they got the award, you didn't. Then it doesn't need to be an award, in like a physical award, just you got the recognition or whatnot. And it's kind of similar to, by the way, my dog's underneath the table, so if you hear something snoring, it's not a lazy break diver. It's a sleeping pup. And I think that reminds me of this. If I must choose between cheating, which leads to success, or being honest and leading to failure, it's a tough nut to swallow, but I will always fail with pride every time. I don't want to succeed by cheating. For example, break diving. I want this company to become world famous and a household name, break diving. We all do. But if somehow we did it through illicit means or by cheating or lying or taking someone else's ideas, and I just think, well, then our success is not very valuable. What do you guys think about numbers?
I agree.
Any thoughts on lying, cheating, stealing, plagiarizing?
Yeah, I agree with you. In my school, a lot of people cheat, but usually those people who cheat on their exams are people who are smart because they want to keep up with the high grade they have now. So then they cheat to keep up with the grade if they didn't study for a certain exam. Just like what you said, they don't deserve that good score.
Yeah, I think part of I think the reason why there is so much cheating in the world is there's such competitiveness.
Yeah.
And people, I mean, it's terrible. I will criticize some of the Asian cultures. I mean, you guys know I love China and Asia, but I think they're way too strict with what they expect from their children. And there's from what I understand, the suicide rate among countries is highest in Asian countries because there is such a stress on success at all costs. And if you don't do it, you've disgraced your family. And so, of course, that's going to lead to people maybe cheating or lying or plagiarizing because they expect, like, I mean, at breakdiving, we try to remind everybody, be yourself. If you don't speak perfect English, that's fine. We don't care. I mean, but you're not going to improve if you're trying to write something that Google Translate makes perfect. That's not technically plagiarism or lying, but it's still, hey, try to do things on your own because we want to, as Ileana said, the authentic self. What do you think, Bhavya?
Yeah, it's about especially lie. What I think it's like initially one lie is lying one time is very tough, where you start feeling, and second time it becomes more easier, and third time, and then as you go through, you don't realize that you are lying. It's like it's become part with you that even you don't realize that it's like it's just goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the first, when you say that lie or you realize you have to stop that moment, actually. Yeah.
Ileana, you and I were talking the other day about how we recognized, and this isn't a judgment about any other cultures or countries, but that it seems that people that are not American or coming from other foreign countries, they seem to maybe lie and cheat more often, but they don't necessarily think it's wrong or they were never taught it. I mean, what could be, if this, I don't even know if this is an accurate portrayal, but I just know that's been my experience that I found in my goings on in the world. Thoughts? And anybody, by the way.
Yeah, my mom got her whole entire bag stolen one time by a I forgot where they're from, but like they're from like a smaller country in Asia. And then it was a family, and the mom and dad tricked my mom thinking that her car, because she was driving on the road, and they told her that her car had some problem and told her to stop by a street. And so she did. And when she was coming down the car, she had her right window open because she was talking to them through the window. And then they just grabbed her bag and ran off. And then the police caught them like after a few months. And then they had 2 other kids inside the car. So while they were stealing, their kids was inside the car. So they're basically teaching their kids how to steal all the time.
So the question I want to ask is, do you think is it, of course we know there are people in the USA who lie, cheat, steal, and plagiarize. It's not, the Americans are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Is it correct, or do you agree that in other countries, maybe it's not as taught, it's not as ingrained in the everyday instruction by parents, by schools, that and again, it's hard for me to, all my experiences is from living in other countries. And I just found that when I was in Iraq, when I was in China, even in Europe, a little bit less so, but I'm not sure. I mean, is there a difference between East and West in that sense?
I think the difference actually has to do with America being extremely individualistic compared to the other countries. Like, I was reading the article after we talked, and it said, like, in Japan, if you're studying like a master's or something, you're taught to study for the master and not bring new ideas, because it's an honor to memorize their ideas because it's considered the best.
Mm.
And they think that the ideas that are the best are considered common knowledge, so they don't like attribute it to anyone because it's considered knowledge for the group and not just one person.
That reminds me, but Bhavya, remember the book, the Machine Stops, that we read?
Yeah.
And Riya was there too. And the idea that
Yes.
first-hand knowledge was frowned upon. Second-hand knowledge was better. Third-hand knowledge was even more honorable. What about in India, Riya? I mean, do you find is there a cultural thing that have you found that there is a lot of cheating there, or is there not a lot as compared to other cultures that you know?
In exams, like, yes, what happens that if it is about, like, if a question paper is coming, then toppers are also doing some corrections, like, for is it true or false, I have written this true. So yes, it happens, and it just become a habit. So there is a problem in education system because there is a lot of pressure from parents just for only to get 90% above 90% above marks. So there is pressure, and yes, students do, and they do not even realizing what they are doing to themselves, but it is harmful. And also I want to add, whenever we just speak one lie, then we have to speak another lie to hide that thing. So that thing also, you should just tell one time truth and just get from that situation. What is what is going to do or happen with you is not that much, risky. But whenever you are speaking again lie and lie and lie, then if you caught up, then it is going to be more risky. If you tell truth, then yes, are chances here in India also that if you speak truth in one time, so then there are chances that you get really, you get what I should say, you get माफी को क्या कहेंगे भाव्या, apologize or something.
Yeah. क्या पूछा
I'm
आपने?
sorry, I'm sorry. मैंने पूछा माफ करने को क्या कहेंगे, कि उनको माफी
Forgiving.
मिल जाएगी.
Yeah.
They are going to be forgive if but if they continuously speaking lie and then they caught up, then it is very risky for them. They are
Yeah.
going to be punished in very bad way. Cheating is not considered good here also. Teacher took a look, but some students are very naughty, that they do very nonsense thing and very wrong things to cheat.
Yeah. Something that also came to my mind, and again, I and Bhavya and Kelly and I talked about this too, and when we had our break diving book club meeting, which is on YouTube as well, about the book "Why Nations Fail," which was a very interesting book. One of the things that I've noted is that United States, in general, because every government is corrupt, but I believe that the United States, among nations, is potentially less corrupt than a lot of other nations. And I wonder if there's a corollary too between the degree to which the citizens feel the government is corrupt and whether they feel that cheating is okay. Because maybe, if the government is the example, and the people, the citizens think, you know what, look at them, the president and the vice president and all the people in parliament or the assembly all got elected through illicit means and blah, blah, blah. Why should I try to be any different?
I'm not sure if that's exactly, I mean, maybe there is some correlation, because when you have a corrupt government, normally they have corrupt systems in place and the country isn't doing well economically. So people have to do anything they can to survive, even if that means cheating or lying or stealing from people. And then that just becomes like crimes of poverty. I'm not saying it's okay, but that's one of the reasons why they end up doing what they're doing, just because they need to survive.
Not government is responsible. In India, what happens, our government now from last 5 or 10 years, when our government change, it's like now our government is proper, but mediators create so much problem. Whatever the program they are applying, or whatever the facilities they are providing to common people, it is not reaching properly, and the mediator creates so much corruption, and they just steal, or whatever they do, they just took the right of poor people, right? If the food packages are coming for poor people, then not properly they will transfer that. Government is doing their work properly, but mediators are creating problem. But now our government is trying to fix that also, and I think our government now really working for that.
So honestly, I think a lot of countries are becoming less and less corrupt, and the United States is becoming more and more. I feel like soon we're going to be looking at other countries as the example, because I don't
I
know.
think cheating and plagiarizing has a lot to do with like the culture backgrounds. Like Ileana said, like crimes with poverty, like it has to do with culture backgrounds.
Yeah, stop saying like Kelly. It's driving me crazy. You know that. All right, so let's go on to the next one. That was an interesting chat about that. But again, Divers Creed number 6, I do not lie, cheat, steal, or plagiarize. If you want to join an awesome community with people like that, we'd love you to come join us. Number 2, what do we got here? Number 5, we're now looking at I try not to get offended. I try not to let the opinions of others determine my future, nor do I get bogged down with unreasonable political correctness just to try to please everyone. Nor do I get easily offended by petty issues that ultimately only serve to distract me from my dreams. Thoughts? I see Riya is smiling, a big smile.
Because I am short tempered and I get offended easily. That is why.
It, I honestly feel like it takes practice to not get offended,
Yes,
because we all have
yes,
Yeah.
egos and we all think that we're what, the most important thing in the world.
Oh,
Because to ourselves,
Ileana, I am. I'm very offended.
exactly,
You
to
think that I'm not.
ourselves, to ourselves, we are the most important thing. But we often have to step outside and think, okay, we exist with other people. Other people have their own opinions. I have to exist with them, so I have to understand what
no,
they
when
think
they,
and what they see.
yes,
And
yes, yes, they think, but they should not curse na. They can have their opinion, and I also accept my mistakes very quickly. I always do. I accept my all mistakes, but they should not curse. You are not going to be happy for your whole life. I am saying this to you, and such type of words really demotivates me. Like, how can, is it really going to be like that, and we are just telling you truth, we are just telling honestly, and what we have said is your future. Such type of words really make afraid. Like, is this really my future? What they are judging, is this correct? Because someone can maybe judge us more correctly. So these things, sometimes I really get offended. Yes.
Yeah. Especially when parents say stuff like that.
No,
It
my
can really be
parents will not
discouraging.
say, but my
Parents are
relatives
the
do
worst.
say. Yeah.
And something just came into my mind, and I'm trying to remember what it was when you were talking, Riya. Let's see.
but the important thing is, Ria, that when people say that, they're judging you from their frame of reference. They don't have all of the
Yes,
knowledge needed to make a
yes,
decision
yes.
for you, to know what's best for you.
They
So they
just become
won't.
Yes.
astrologers.
And then there are also some people who who's really determined and believe that their belief is absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't
Yes,
accept
yes,
others' opinion.
yes,
And that
yes.
it's so hard
That
to talk to them.
Kelly, that's what we were talking about. I think I think it was during that same book club event. We were talking about that everybody, this cancel culture thing that's going on around the world. It's just making, honestly, I think we live, I'm excited. I'm living in this time because I live in this time or whatever, but I feel like the internet it's just made life more difficult. It's made life easier, but it's given a platform to everybody. Every single idiot has their own magazine called Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, and they can say and they can
Yes.
spew out whatever the heck they want. And it's getting to and everyone is just shouting everybody down. And no one, 30 years ago, you could talk politics with people civilly. You could talk about religion civilly. Now you talk about these things, and no matter what you say, you're wrong. Go ahead, Ileana. Were you going to say
I
something?
think one of the reasons why that is true is because maybe 30 years ago, everyone had to come together, everyone had to exist together, but now we're more separated and most people just exist online. And if someone doesn't agree with you or someone doesn't want to listen to what you're saying, they'll just block you. Like, you don't have to interact with them. Whereas before, everyone went to the same restaurants, everyone talked together, everyone went to church together. So even if they had different and opposing viewpoints,
You had to
they
work through
still
it.
had to, exactly, they were part of the community and they had to work
You
through their
remind me
differences.
again is the fact again this diverse code thing. I mean, for some of you watching, thinking, how can there be a social media site that has this code? And I thought, well, the reason why I think one of the biggest mistakes was allowing on regular social media and this and that to just block people without requiring that you first work it out with that person. It trains us to say, oh, somebody says something that you don't like and you immediately feel offended and emotionally assaulted, block, boom, problem solved. But the problem actually hasn't been solved. You've not learned anything. The other person's learned anything. You've lost a friend probably, and you've become more impatient and more, what's that word, intolerant. I think people keep saying this is the most tolerant, that these are the most tolerant times we live in. No, I think we live in the most intolerant times because people keep saying, shut up, I don't care what you say. If you don't listen to what I say, then I'm not your friend because your opinion is wrong. Well, no, maybe it's not. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. And I do believe that every other religion is not the true religion. But I'm not going to hold that against somebody if somebody believes that theirs is the true religion, because maybe I'm wrong. And I think it gets to the point. I think sometimes atheists, I think, some of them are very, very intolerant of people who believe in God. And I just think, why does it upset people so much if I believe in God? Or why should I be intolerant of people who don't believe in God? Honestly, your life, I hope you're wrong. I hope you're right for your sake, because if you're not and you've thrown away God, but the fact that people take it so personally and feel like it's an affront
Yeah.
against.
I think it's also a problem. There's not so many problems that people aren't taught how to communicate with each other. Like, when we're younger, we don't go through like emotional education or emotional intelligence training to do conflict resolution, to figure out our problems together. Instead, we're trained to take tests to get the highest grades possible so that we can have the best best job
Yeah.
possible to make the most money.
Hmm.
It's not valued as much.
We had a chat the other day. I think Ileana, you were on this maybe a month or two ago on one of our events. We were talking about how life skills are not taught in school, but we didn't talk about life skills as interpersonal and emotional skills, which are just as important as we were just talking about balance your checkbook, open a bank account,
Mm-hmm.
learn how to invest in the stock market, all the things that we're doing at break diving. But one of the things we're doing here as well is teaching
Yes.
people, reminding people, hey, we're all God's children, quote unquote. We're all from the same matter. None of us is more important. And I think you're right, Ileana. Why don't we teach children how to be nice? There should be a whole class on that every day for 1 hour, how to be nice. But no, we have 3 hours a day of math, of arithmetic. And in college,
Yes.
I remember I was suspended once at school. I think I was in grammar school, 6th grade, because I got mad at the teacher because I said, why do I have to study this? I'm never going to use this in my life. And I'm not sure what it was. And I got in trouble. I don't know if I got in trouble maybe because I questioned the teacher or what I said, but it stuck with me forever because I love theoretical things. I think that's important because it trains your brain. But I do think in school, I think 80% of it is stuff that you're not going to use on the daily basis. And that 20% that we're not taught, like you said, Ileana, are probably the most important things. I think learning how to treat people, isn't that right, Ileana, is probably more important than the book knowledge?
Yeah.
School
Well, in my
says that they teach you mathematic algorithm stuff to help you learn stuff in the future, but I don't. But I think learning communication skills and theoretical skills, like Monroe said, like is also important. Yeah.
We
at
should
my high
actually
school,
offer some more classes like that that are just about how to treat other people, and I don't know, just a whole bunch of emotional intelligence classes that we do. What were you saying, Ileana?
well, in my high school, for 4 years, like for all 4 years of my high school, we had this class, mandatory class every day called citizenship class, which taught you about how to be a good citizen, but you also learned about other people's religions, about other cultures, um, about how basically to be a nice person, to achieve your goals. And it was really nice because we learned about other people, we learned about the struggles that others had, and it helped us connect more with each other because we are all going through the same experience and learning how to be good people. So
Yeah, I really I love this concept. I'm just thinking of all my times when I was in elementary, in 6th grade actually, 6th grade. That was the year that I was bullied the most as a child, and their school did nothing to, like, they should have required me and this bully to go to a movie together, paid for by, right? Or I don't know, work on a project together 1 day a week until summer. I feel like I would have probably made a friend. He would have learned that bullying is wrong. That same I can't tell you how many things happened that year. I got stuffed into a locker. On the bus, they took off my shoes and threw them out the window. 6 miles later, the bus driver found out and turned around. We all went back to look for my shoes. And I just think, yeah, they didn't do anything to try to bridge the gaps between whatever this person had against me.
mm-hmm.
And I feel, on the flip side, they often say that the people who want to achieve the most ambitious people in the world are those who felt like they didn't get that respect when they were in school, when they were younger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I honestly feel like I wouldn't be so ambitious, and maybe breakdiving wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have this desire to show everybody that I'm worth something if I didn't feel like I was worth nothing when I was growing up. So it's strange. I think who was it? Amar, I think, who wrote that "Your enemy is your friend" post on our breakdiving.blog.
Yeah.
And he wrote about a bully that he had in childhood, and it turned out that his bully actually didn't hate him and ended up becoming a friend, and it was through misunderstanding. And so let me go back to the share screen and see what we were discussing. We were talking about, try not to get offended. I think that's just a big thing for everybody, more important than any other time in the world, because we have 30 years ago, our circle of influence was so much smaller. 30 years
now
ago,
we're all connected.
now we're all connected. I just think about this. When I'm older than each of you, and I don't know if any of you can relate, maybe Bhavya, but I think even Bhavya is much younger than me. I remember I'd go to elementary school, and at 3 o'clock when class was out, I would walk home, and if I didn't plan something with my friends earlier, I probably wouldn't hang out with them. There were a few friends on my street. Up the block was Tony Girassi. Down the street was Mike and Chris Berlingo. And the Pontillos are right up the street. And right here in this house that I'm living in right now, I'd have to walk over there and knock on the door. Hey, Mrs. Girassi. Hey, is Tony home? Blah, blah, blah. Who does that anymore? What kids do that anymore? I just don't feel like they even learn how to knock on a door and say, hi, Mrs. Girassi.
Well, if you do that now, people will call the cops on you. And yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we like my friends, we sometimes do it, but we always like will give the person a heads up, like text them like we'll go to your house, say
Coming
blah blah blah
over.
blah. Yeah, we're coming over. Yeah, and then we'll knock on the door and then we'll probably go swim together or something.
That's the other thing that, again, and this is all related to this. I try not to get offended. The fact that you can easily make plans with a friend and then cancel an hour before without any big repercussion, because you're going to expect that, oh, I'm so sorry, Bobby, I can't come to the meeting. 30 years ago, you're going to show up to that meeting. You will go through rain or shine. You will get attacked. Why? Because you're not going to just leave your friend at the movie theater. Whereas now it's not a big deal. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Something came up. I can't meet you tonight. I'll be upset, but it's expected that, like, just basically everything has become, don't treat people with as much respect anymore, because you can just text them or send them a message. And I think that's the big thing, is everything has become so petty and instantaneous. And so anyway, in summary, let's not get offended by if somebody says something that you're offended by. Try to get to know them better. Try not to do everything via text. Let's go to this last one. We'll move on. Our last tenet for today is, I always say thanks. I always try to remember to say thank you and show appreciation to those who've tried to help me along the way.
Definitely.
Bhavya, what do you think?
You're asking me? Okay. I always feel happy whenever whenever someone says thank you to me for my work or my help. So it kind of brings freshness, or whatever you're tired or irritated, when you hear that word, all your pain or irritation is usually gone. So I would like to give same feeling or gratefulness to others. So I always try to say thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like someone recognized your work and you just feel very
And-
accomplished.
Yes. And you want to do more. If they say thank you, you want to do it again also.
Encourages.
They really appreciate and encourages you. Yes.
Let me share the screen again. What's interesting about this, it just came to me again, that 4 and 5 are very closely related.
Thank you. Yes.
Because often in life, people are not going to say thank you.
Yeah.
And we have to try not to get offended by the fact that they're not saying thank you. But at the same time, it's hard not to, because we want to feel like we're not being taken advantage of, and that we're also being recognized for the hard work that we're doing. And I just, to me, it upsets me so much when people don't say thank you to me. And because I always try to go out of my way to say thank you to everyone that I meet, wherever it is, no matter what they did for me, even if it's the tiniest thing, and even if it's something they're being paid to do, I want them to know that I recognize something that I learned. I read this somewhere and I tried it and it works. There's a difference between, let's say, next time you're at the supermarket, instead of saying thank you for your help, say to this person, hey, thank you for all you do here. I think we talked about this one time in the past, maybe a year and a half ago, I think, maybe Bhavya, Ileana, I don't know if it was you guys. But there's something different about that. Just saying thank you for your help is a sort of just a one-off, instantaneous, I'm thanking you in the moment, but thank you for all that you do. It's sort of recognizing that person as an individual who contributes to the entire operation of that store.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for your help is more, oh, everything is about me. So thank you for helping me. Whereas thank you for everything that you do here is recognizing the person for their contributions.
Yeah.
One thing like in my mind when Monroe relayed these two things, I was thinking whenever someone judged me, I would try to say thank you to them so that they know, they get me know where I'm going wrong. Maybe I should try to work on that. So I should say thank you to them when they judge me or utter such type of words. I would try to say thank you to them.
I want to bring up like a parenting issue. Like, I think parents need to help kids to learn to say thank you when they're young, but not to force them to. Like, I hate when my parents like say, like, even though I said thank you, and then my parents go, "Oh, don't forget to say thank you to that person," and it just makes you feel like you're forcing me to say thank you when it should be something that I know I need to do.
So let me just clarify what you're saying, Kelly. You're saying you say thank you and then your parents force you to say it again? I missed
No,
it.
like sometimes they don't hear it and they think I didn't say it, and then they force me. Like they always like don't like say thank you to that person. Like every single time, like they will like tell you to say it instead of like teaching you to like.
I agree. I think everybody has that issue. Not only with parents, but I think with lots of people. Those where if oftentimes when there's that forcing, it comes from a position of what's that word? When you feel when you don't
Inferior?
yeah, like inferiority, or it comes from a position of weakness or when you don't have self-esteem. Go ahead, Bobby. I keep seeing your mouth, so I know you want to say something.
No, about parenting, I think it's like about saying thank you and all. It's most of the things comes like for kids by observing us like a parent. So it's no need to like teach that. By seeing you, they learn a lot. And some of the things, sometimes what I know usually as a parent, now generation, it's like they have to be multi-talent, they have to be interested in everything. And it's sometimes it's like I've seen with my own kids, like my daughter is very good at drawing and all, and in between she lost the interest, and I was telling her, draw something, draw. It's like, I'm bored, mama. Like she was like, good.
Oh yeah.
Then what I did for a few days, I sat and started drawing, and she just came or will sit and again started interested. It's most of the time, yeah. I'll do with my son as well. He's very good at singing. I was telling, just start singing. Anyway, I was like, he was like, no, I'm going to become a player. Why should I learn all the singing and all? When I started learning singing, and he listened for so many, now he only does all that by himself. It's a lot of things like of you to it, like it needs a lot of patience and working through it, like how you want to go through it and observing them and doing stuff like that is very important.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned the fact that parents could maybe do a better job by emulating the behavior that they want their children to exhibit.
Yep.
And and in psychological terms, it's called modeling. But I realized when you realize what is government but a parent for the country? What are teachers but parents for the students? What are your friends but parents for your peers? And I just feel, and what is social media but a parent for the online world? And that kind of brings us back full circle. And why I think breakdiving, why we all love breakdiving, is that we have expectations of our members. We're not just saying, here's an online platform, start spewing out information, whatever you want.
Wild.
Yeah, it's like not go wild. Internet going wild. We at breakdiving, I think why everyone loves it so much is that everybody knows the ground rules of what everyone is expected. And we all know that no one is going to treat you poorly. No one is going to plagiarize and steal the things that you write and share on the community.
And
No
if it happens, you're held accountable for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think unlike all other social media sites, we actually are actively looking for plagiarism and people who are lying, people who are saying things about themselves that are not true, because we want to change the behavior of people in this world back to the way it was 30 years ago, and maybe even make it better, because a lot of children don't have parents that they can look up to or who support them, or maybe are orphans or lost their parents, or they don't have a great crowd of people to hang out with. And they have, I can't tell you how sad it is. We're certain there are hundreds of millions of people in the world who are talented, who have big dreams, who have incredible capability to do awesome things with their life according to their own plan. But because of their parents or their friends or their teachers, their environment, they believe that they can't succeed. Terrible how many people think that just because they're born into poverty and don't have money that they can't change that, or because someone told them they're stupid. Well, guess what? You're not stupid. Just because one person thinks you're stupid doesn't mean you are. And I'm hoping that breakdiving is going to become this place where, hey, we will. You know, it's funny. Do you remember the thing that's put on the Statue of Liberty? That inscription. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Let me do a search here. Inscription on Statue of Liberty. Oh no, maybe it's not this. Is it? Yeah, there's a poem, or was it Ellis Island? Maybe it's Ellis Island. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
When the Statue of Liberty, it's give us your broken and your something.
Yeah, here it is. Let's see. What does this say here? This Zoom thing is driving me crazy. Bhavya and I were talking about it. When you're screen sharing, there are 12 different things that are covering up all parts of the screen. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I kind of feel that that's also a motto for breakdiving. That, hey, if you're tired, if you're exhausted, if you feel that you can't breathe, if you feel like you have no one supporting you, if you feel like you are chained to your circumstances, come and join us, because we will unchain you. And we're going to inspire you and help you to live a better life and feel better about not only your current situation, but how to improve your future. Any final thoughts before I close, guys?
Yes, I want to add that last month, one of our member, Pawan Newpain, added a video of a child saying thank you. And I learned a lot from that video. Every time the mother gave the child food and he said, thank you, mama. Thank you, mama. So that video was very cute and inspiring also. So that, yes.
I agree. That was the most hilarious video. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Said thank you every time. It was. I wish we could share that
thank
with you.
you,
Maybe you could
Mama.
find it on YouTube if you search.
Yes, yes.
So anyway, guys, thank you for those of you watching on YouTube. This has been a presentation of Breakdiving. We're an American not-for-profit. I was going to say an American not-for-profit located in the United States, but I think that's kind of redundant. this YouTube show, all of us are members of Breakdiving, and we do these often. If you look at our YouTube channel, you'll find lots of events like this. You can just join us on YouTube and subscribe and watch, or you can actually join our community. It's the most friendly, inspiring, success and friend-focused community on the internet. It's free to join. We'll certify in your life accomplishments. Ileana just got certified as a front-end coder level 1. Kelly just got certified as surgery overcomer level 1. I just got certified as French level 2. Riya was certified, or she's going to be certified in English level 1 shortly. And same, Bhavya will be certified. Her next one is HTML, CSS. And we're an awesome family. And if you enjoyed this, you can be a part of it. You can actually be a part of these YouTube videos and help us spread the good word and help increase the breakdiving community in your country and in your city. And thank you, guys. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ileana,
Thank you.
for joining.
Thank you for all that you do here.
I think we should have a group picture. Yes.
We should what?
Take a picture.
We should stop
we
the
have to do a
recording.
picture. That's right. We're going to do a picture and post that in the community. So everybody wave. And I will say, ready on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Let me take this screenshot of this. Boom. I wonder if that's part of the screen recording. Probably will be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. I guess that's it. It's time to say goodbye. Oh, how do you say thank you in Bengali again? I forgot. It was like good day.
Bye.
Bidai is bye, right? Is it thank you? Goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, goodbye. Goodbye is budai.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.